T minus 1 minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Dzień dobry, kłaniam się, Dariusz Siemianek z tej strony. Bardzo mi miło Państwa powitać na pierwszym w tym roku, 2021, webinarium z cyklu English Teaching i Instaling. Przypomnę, że program English Teaching to naprawdę wspaniała sprawa. To jest działający już bardzo wielu lat, podejrzewam od 20 lat, program wsparcia nauczycieli języka angielskiego, zwłaszcza z małych miejscowości, ale nie tylko. Także organizujący super fajne warsztaty English Teaching. Zapraszam na englishteaching.org. Wszystkich zainteresowanych zdecydowanie polecam. Natomiast z kolei Instaling to jest innowacyjna platforma darmowa dla wszystkich nauczycieli, która pozwala na wspomaganie nauki słownictwa, ale także ćwiczeń, można robić testy, zwłaszcza w nauce zdalnej to się bardzo przydaje i właśnie niedawno uruchomiliśmy rejestrację. Rejestracja nauczycieli w programie Instaling na przyszły semestr jest już dostępna, jest darmowa, cały program jest darmowy, bez żadnych haczyków, jak u większości tych wszystkich serwisów, więc serdecznie zachęcam. No ale dzisiaj mamy o troszkę czymś innym i bardzo serdecznie chciałbym powitać naszą gościnę, osobę, która będzie dzisiaj z nami nie tylko duchem, ale także i będzie nam prezentować. I Anna Olewińska-Byliniak to jest osoba z bardzo ciekawym doświadczeniem, bo to jest osoba, która w pierwszym rzędzie jest italianistką, a obecnie jest także nauczycielką języka angielskiego i lektorką. No ma oczywiście bardzo dużo doświadczenia, jak większość osób prezentujących u nas. Od lat współpracuje z Polskim Stowarzyszeniem na rzecz Jakości w Nauczaniu Języków Obcych, Passage, Pace, jakkolwiek to wymawia, kapelusz lektora, wiele różnych fajnych inicjatyw, ale nie będę tutaj może o niej wszystkiego mówił, bo całe seminarium by nam zaszło. Natomiast tematem webinarium będzie coś bardzo fajnego, mianowicie jak sobie radzić w sytuacji, kiedy jesteśmy nauczycielem, nauczycielką wielojęzyczną. Help me, I'm multilingual. Anna Olewińska-Byliniak, without further ado, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for this kind and warm introduction. Thank you, and good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year. Yeah, this is the first webinar in 2021, so I hope that you will like it, and I'm very happy that I can see you here in the comments section. And yes, I am multilingual, and that's why I'm here today. And I hope that you are multilingual too, because this case you can, you can take advantage of this webinar. I would like to start with this, let's say, teasing title of this webinar, because as you can see, it's Help me, I'm multilingual. So, why does the person who is multilingual needs help? This is the question that is very important because I would like to clarify. Who can take the best from today's webinar? And to answer the question for whom this webinar is the best, I would like to take a look at the abstract. Maybe before we do this, I would like to. I can see that you are writing about certificates. So yes, I can see that you have your answers already. So someone, usually when we see or hear or when we meet someone who is multilingual, we don't say, "Oh, poor thing, you need help." Yeah. I mean, in most of the times, we are very impressed by the ability to speak, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 languages. And it's not like we think that someone needs our help. So why this webinar? I mean, what's the title about? So as I said before, let's take a look at the abstract. This webinar and this multilingual is about teachers, of course, because we are in the English teaching program, and this webinar is for teachers of English, but for teachers that for teachers who know more than one foreign language. So if you teach English, but you also speak, I don't know, Italian, French, German, Spanish, Chinese, or I don't know, whatever language you speak, this is something for you. And this is the webinar for people in the situation of knowing more languages, but also for people who I don't know, due to some circumstances or due to the situation on the market, or, I mean, job market, they had to retrain or, you know, change or switch their qualifications in order to just make a living, yeah? And this is for people who teach English, of course, but they don't feel very confident being English teachers. Maybe because, for example, they didn't graduate from English philology, but I don't know, they have experience with Italian philology, German philology, or etc., etc. So what are we going to talk today? We are going to talk today my story, because I would like to share it with you, because I think it's very important. And when I'm thinking about my confidence and my struggles from the past, I mean, I think that it may be important just to hear that, okay, someone feels the same as I do. So I would like to share my story with you, and I would like to explain why am I here. Oh, I can see that someone said Spanish and English. Yeah, that's great, perfect. I would like to say, why do we become multilingual? So what are the reasons why we need to, I don't know, add one more language to our experience? Oh, ciao. So next thing would be how to use the fact that you know more languages. Yes, so this part will be the most practical. Yeah, I will show you what can you do during your English lessons. What can you do to make them more interesting for your students, more engaging? Yeah. So I hope that you will like my ideas because. Yeah, I just hope that you will. And next, I will talk about how to stay fluent. Yeah, because usually when we speak more than one foreign language, we need to practice. I mean, you are teachers, you know it. Yeah, if you want to stay fluent, you have to practice. Yeah, if you don't practice, you just forget, and it's very, very. And it's a very, very inevitable process without practicing. And the last part would be just, okay, what can we do to make it your asset? So being multilingual, and what can we do to believe in yourself? Yeah, because I know that it can be hard. It can be hard. Period. So let's start. Let's start with my story. As you can see, there are many languages here. I don't speak all of them, unfortunately, but I just wanted to show you that foreign languages and languages have always been very important to me in my life. And of course, I used to learn German and Russian at school, and of course I don't remember a lot, but I can understand something. So that's okay for me at this point. English is the biggest here, as you can see, because I have been studying English since I was 6, maybe. So my whole life, I finished a lot of courses. I have certificates. But what's important for today's webinar, I didn't graduate from English philology. This is the one thing that caused that I was not so confident about my English skills, even though, as I said, I finished courses, I have certificates. I mean, I have proofs of my English knowledge, but still, this one particular fact was something that caused that I didn't feel very good about my English skills. Then there is Italian, and as I said, I studied Italian philology. I also have a master's degree in pedagogy, so I am qualified to be a teacher, of course, and I am an English teacher today. But still, there are some things that caused some insecurities, and I would like to tell you how to deal with it, how to cope with the situation when you don't feel very confident about your skills. Also, you can see Latin, and of course, Italian philology doesn't exist without Latin. And there is also sign language here because I had a course of sign language linguistics, and I find it very interesting. And I hope that I will have a chance to explore sign languages in my life, and also French. We can say that I speak French. I wrote advanced matura as well, so that is it. And then there is very little Spanish, and Spanish is the language that I want to learn, and I started, of course, but. If you are adults, so you know how how does it look like to learn a new language when you are an adult. So coming back to the main point, English was with me for my entire life. I love this language. As I said, I have learned it since I was a little kid, and I just didn't feel the necessity to go to English philology, because I thought, okay, but I know this language, so why should I go to English philology if I know English, right? So I figured that it's a better idea to start with Italian philology, and I used to learn Italian before, so Italian is just beautiful, and I loved the sound of it. I loved the culture, and I still do. I love the architecture. I love the country, and of course, Italian cuisine. So everything was perfect about Italian, I am still very passionate about it. So. How did it happen? How did it happen that I love Italian? I studied Italian philology, but still today, I can say that I am more an English teacher than I am an Italian teacher. Let's take a look at the reason why. Because at some point, after graduating, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I mean, as I said, I have a master. I have a master degree in pedagogy as well, and actually, I've been a teacher since I was like 18 years old. So, of course, it's always been a big part of my life, and now I'm dedicated to teaching. But it wasn't like this since the very beginning. So I wanted to, do something in my life based only on Italian language, but as it turned out, if you want to be an Italian teacher and only Italian teacher, it's not so easy. Why it's not so easy? Because I think that everyone who teaches foreign languages that is not English can tell that when it comes to resources, well, if you want to find something about English, English grammar or vocabulary or listening or anything, there are many, many resources you can find on just any subject you want. But with Italian, it wasn't like this. I started with courses for kids, and all of my materials and my courses, I mean, I just made them. Yeah, I had to create them from scratch because I couldn't find anything that was interesting enough or that was good enough, and I just didn't feel that, okay, this is like the resource, I can use it. And I'm not talking only about the internet, because there is, I don't know if there is, but there was a huge problem with books. Because if you wanted to teach children or teach little kids, it was very, very hard to find a book that was like approved, that was checked, and that everything was okay for me. Yeah, so eventually I bought a book because the parents just wanted to, buy a book and workbook and just work with it. But when it comes to resources, it's just a big problem, because English, nowadays we learn to speak English since we are little. Yeah, so there are many programs, there are many courses, many books. We can find lots of resources online, but when it comes to Italian, or I think different languages, it's also a problem. I can see that. I can see a comment. It's getting better with Spanish nowadays. Yeah, that's great. But it was very difficult as far as resources are concerned some years back too. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. They are not updated. I mean, you find something, but it's like, it's not good enough. Yeah, you can find something in English and it's like 10 times better. So it was a big problem for me that I couldn't find as many resources as I wanted. And I'm talking also about, I don't know, original materials. It was just a big problem, and it made preparation to the courses more time consuming. Because, as I said, I had to just create everything from scratch. Italian wasn't also enough because of work possibilities, because imagine that you go to a language school that is just a language school, and I live near Warsaw, and I entered language schools in Warsaw, so in a big city, and still I didn't hear something like, yeah, okay, Italian, perfect. We have, a lot of people coming and asking about Italian. No, I mean, it's always like there is one group, and usually it's just elementary group, more individual classes. Of course, you can work in an institute or something, but if you want to just go to, language school and start teaching, it's impossible to be able to work full time. Yeah, I mean, you just won't get as many hours as you want. With English, the situation is completely different. Yeah, and I know it because that's what I heard, actually. With English, of course, we've got, 4 groups and 2 days and everything. Yeah, that's perfect. And when it comes to Italian, well, you can have, something, but it definitely 100% won't be full time, because it's more like exotic language. I people usually learn different languages because they want to. I mean, because it's their hobby. Sometimes, of course, for work, but it's still not so popular, unfortunately. And of course, if you want to do something else apart from being a teacher, that's just perfect, because right after graduation, I received some job offers, and like the only requirement was this Italian. Yeah, I was offered a job from accounting, and trust me, I mean, now I know more, but at that time I barely knew, how did the invoice look like. And still I got the job just because I knew Italian. So of course it's a big asset if you want to work in a big international company. Yeah, of course. But I didn't want that. I mean, I worked in a big company for a while, but I am a teacher. At some point I just asked myself. I just asked myself the question, who am I kidding? Yeah, I am a teacher. There's nothing that's going to change it. So there was and there is always a possibility to work as a translator, because still, I mean, until now, I sometimes receive some questions about texts. Yeah, so okay, I have something. I don't know, can you translate from Italian to Polish or from Italian to English? Can you do something like this for me? And I just didn't want it. I wanted to focus on teaching. So that's why, even though I loved Italian and I was qualified to become a full-time Italian teacher, it just wasn't possible. So luckily for me, I had my English certificates, I had my MA in pedagogy, so I could easily switch into being an English teacher with an Italian addition, let's say. But it turned out that it didn't feel very well. I mean, it wasn't like I felt so special and so great because I knew like more than one foreign language. No, at some point I didn't feel confident about my English because, well, I didn't graduate from English philology, so what do I know? Even though even though English was with me my whole life. And I still didn't feel very confident. And I also didn't feel very confident with my Italian because I couldn't practice. Yeah, I couldn't practice as a teacher because there just wasn't the way. And I am talking about like the Warsaw perspective, but and here work possibilities are low. I mean, I had this feeling that they are not enough to become a full-time teacher. So what about smaller cities, right? So what happened? I just decided that, okay, English it is. So let's go with English. And I had to figure out what to do. What to do to start feeling confident and good about my skills. And it took a lot of time. And right now I am a student of English philology, and I have to say it's not like I'm learning anything new. So it can be comforting, I guess. But I've decided that, I have to change my way of thinking and of seeing things. And it is a big asset. It is a great asset that I can speak more than one foreign language. Yeah, I can give my students something more. And now I want to show you what can we do to use the fact of being multilingual on our lessons. If we start thinking that, okay, the fact that I know Spanish and English, or German and English, or Swedish and English is the asset, and I want to share it with my students. Yeah, they are lucky that they have me as a teacher because I can tell them something more. And I would like to share with you some ideas of incorporating the second language and your knowledge of the second language of the culture of the country into your classroom. And I would like to show you what to do to make it just more interesting for your students. So let's go. Let's see the first idea. And I think that the first idea is quite obvious. So comparisons. Just take a look at materials regarding culture. Yeah, this is a great, perfect, ideal way to learn more about the world in general, and just to find differences and similarities between cultures. I'm sure that every person that speaks more than one language knows a lot about history, about customs. I'm sure that you traveled to the country that you were learning about. And for example, I will give examples of Italian mostly because this is my second language. But of course, you can just, be creative and open and feel free to incorporate and give here in this comment section your ideas. So the first thing that came to my mind was just, okay, so food, English breakfast versus Italian breakfast, yeah? What are the differences here? Because usually in our books, we see comparisons and we see the culture section, and usually it's about differences between English-speaking countries and Poland, when we teach Polish students, of course. And yes, of course, it's always a good way to compare these two things because they know Polish customs and Polish culture. So let's see how it is in English-speaking countries. But why not going one step further? Yeah, why don't show them how does it look like in different countries, in other countries? So let's encourage them to explore the world and to know more. And with Italy and Italian food, it's easier because, everyone knows something about Italy, right? And everyone can say something about Italian food and about, coffee or about some obvious things that Italy is known for. So let's use it. Yeah, don't be afraid and don't be closed, and don't look only on Polish comparisons. No, if you know something more, use it. Don't be afraid of it. And you will see that the lessons will be even more interesting for your students because they will have a feeling that they know something more, more than was expected. And the second thing, these are still comparisons, but it's also about finding something that is characteristic for the language itself, not about the culture, but the language. And don't be afraid to use it. So, for example, with Italian language, what is very, very important and what is very popular as well and well known are Italian accents and dialects. And for example, on YouTube, which is like I posted here, you can find many, many examples of Italian accents, and there are many ways, there are many videos in which they show the accents, they compare them, and what's the most important, they often do it in English. So why shouldn't we show our students something more? Let's start the lesson with showing them the video about, here we've got 8 Italian accents, and we see a person that is talking in a humorous way about different accents, and they show the same sentence said, in various ways. And it's funny, and what's funny, it's also engaging, so it's easier for our students to pay attention to the class, and we can use it as a great start to the lesson about, I don't know, English pronunciation or the importance of the accent, for example. And I'm sure that you have some grumpy students, and I think that everyone has a student who can, that if you show this video, the students would say, okay, but it's not English, and this is an English lesson, so where is my English? Why are we hearing Italian here? And you can just ask them, okay, why do you think? Yeah, because there is a reason why I'm showing you this. So what do you think? Why am I showing you the video of a person that speaks in the same language but with different accents or in dialects or something? And how can we incorporate it into English? Yeah, and it's something different. Yeah, it's not like we start the lesson and we say, oh, accent is very important, period. No, let's just show them something different. Yeah, because if they don't know Italian, it can be something that will be interesting for them. So why not use it? Yeah, the next thing is actually maybe controversial, I don't know, but my idea was that we can sometimes use the second language as a motivating tool. For example, here you can see a very, short table of contents with like the conjugation of the verb, and actually of 3 verbs. And this is how can you say something in like the future simple, let's say. Yeah, it's futura semplice, so let's say it's just the future tense. And you can start the lesson by showing this, and you can say, oh, can you see, if you want to say that in Italian, if you want to say that something will happen in the future, you have to take a look at the verb itself, and as you can see, there are different endings like are, ere, ire, and you have to just conjugate, yeah, just like in Polish. But we don't need to say that it's like in Polish, because when we use another language, it can be more interesting for our students, because this is something new for them. They didn't know. So they have a feeling that, okay, this is interesting, and it sounds so strange and so difficult, because, we've got a lot of things to learn. And you can say, okay, so in English, luckily for you, all you need is will. Yeah, so look how lucky you are. You don't need to learn all of these things. All you need to do is remember that here in English we've got will. You can also, I don't know, write a big will on this or something, and just use it as something that you, again, compare the language with, because sometimes when I explain some grammar to my students, in 90% of cases I use Polish references if it's possible. Maybe not 90%, but when it's possible. For example, I don't know, when I talk about the passive, I'm sure that you use it too. Sometimes it's easier to just write a sentence in Polish, a sentence in English, and to show them, okay, look, this is easy. Yeah, this is. In English we do this just like in Polish. Of course, sometimes you can do it, and in most of cases you can't. But why shouldn't we use the other language? Yeah, let's show our students that the abstract of linguistics, this is something that is worth considering. Yeah, that's worth thinking about. And also, I think that is very important to maybe older students just to think about linguistics, yeah, to think about the language itself, yeah, not that, oh, hey, this is the tense and I have to learn it, but let's make them think, yeah, because Polish is very obvious for them, English is something that they need to learn. So let's just give them one more thing, yeah, to be maybe it will give them just a wider perspective. Okay, I can see some comments. So I often give my sentences of English nouns, verbs, or adjectives when teaching Russian, especially those borrowed from that language lately. Oh yes, words that are borrowed are just perfect for teaching purposes. Yeah, they are really great. How to teach bilingual students and use their skills in different language. Yeah, I will say just one sentence about it, but bilingual students, this is something completely different. Yeah, this is the topic for the whole webinar or more, but it is very interesting, and it's getting more and more common, I guess. So it's a really interesting topic, and I really love it. Okay, so let's go further. Of course, something obvious. So curiosities. We can just use the facts that can be interesting and encourage students to find out more. So we can give them some curiosities from other cultures, other countries, not only English-speaking countries, because who said so? I mean, of course, we have to teach them English culture, of course. But yeah, let's stay open, yeah, because nowadays, of course, because of pandemic, it's harder to travel. But nowadays, it's easier for us to travel, to explore more, to explore other countries. So let's just use the fact that students are interested in the world, yeah, and let's encourage them to explore the world and to look for different examples. For example, I don't know, when I talk with my students about food, I ask them to prepare a presentation about food in different countries. For example, I don't know, someone makes a presentation about Korean food, someone about Italian, French, French cuisine, Italian cuisine, etc., etc. Because it's just more interesting, yeah. And still, I mean, they do it in English. So, I mean, they are talking about curiosities from Italy, but still they do it in English. So I think that is great. And for example, one of curiosities would be that the word cappuccino comes from the drink's resemblance to the clothing of Capuchin monks. Yeah, I think that it's a well-known fact, but maybe not for our students, because we have to check what they know before we do something. So curiosities are great. We can just ask them to find more and more and more, and to, of course, to talk about them in English or in the language that we are teaching, of course. This is the idea I think I like the most. So original materials reinvented. And as I said at the beginning, there is a problem with resources. For example, when it comes to Italian, of course, there are more and more materials of English and for ASL teachers and students than for Italian, but still we can use them. For example, if you find a video that is just great, I mean, it's perfect, it has everything that you need, but it's not in English, but it's in other language, you can still use it. And how can you do it? You can just use them, and you can play the video in the original version, and you can ask your students to transform it. For example, here there is a link to the short job interview, and it starts with the invitation to the job interview, and then it comes the job interview itself. And we can just play it to our students. And let me remind you, they don't speak Italian, but we can just tell them that, okay, you are going to watch something. It will be in Italian, so you won't understand a thing. But I can tell you that it will be a job interview, and your task is to just listen to it and just watch it, try to figure out the context, etc. And then I will ask you to write the dialogue, and to present it. The video then will be muted, and you will just have to present the dialogue in English. Why is it a good idea? Because imagine that we show it to them in Polish. In this case, they will just try to translate it. So okay, they were talking about this. Okay, so let's just say the same but in English. That's fine, but let's just boost it for a little bit. So when they hear something that is in Italian, and we tell them that, okay, you won't understand a thing, and they will understand something, because take a look, even here we can see subtitles, and we can see la candidatura, so it's, let's say, similar to Polish, posizione di marketing manager, so we can figure out the meaning, and students also will do it. Then we can always distinguish when they are talking about the date, when they are talking about the hour, the address, because it's, I don't know, you just see, if you see it, if you hear it, you are able to just figure out the context. And how is it good to our students? We play a video to them in a language that they don't understand, but still they understand something, and they feel better, and they feel motivated, and they come back home and they say, oh, Mom, you know what? Our teacher just played us a video today, and it was in Italian, and I understood everything. So they feel good about themselves. They feel confident about themselves. And they feel that, okay, so I am smart, I am so smart. I don't know Italian, I don't speak the language, but still I can figure out the meaning. And, they try to write their dialogue, and we've got our goal, and this is something interesting for them. And of course, there will be grumpy students who will say that, okay, but we don't speak Italian. But, this video, for example, it's so obvious that one person is calling. So even if we have a student who won't understand a thing, I don't believe it, because it's really, some words are really similar to Polish. And the context is so obvious, especially when we say that it is a job interview. So even if they are grumpy, our goal will be there. So I really recommend this, and it's quite easy to perform. So I hope that you will like it. And next thing is just encourage your students to be multilingual. So if they learn other foreign languages, and it's more and more common these days, I would say, we can encourage them to explore these languages, to build their linguistic awareness. And for example, we can encourage them to, I don't know, if they learn Spanish and English, we can ask them, okay, so what, you had a Spanish lesson today, so what did you learn? And maybe if next time, if you write down some vocabulary on your Spanish lesson, you can write the English translation for it, not Polish. You know English, your level is quite good, so why not use it? Let's encourage them to mix it, to use their knowledge of English. Of course, I think that it's a better idea for older students, not for young learners, but still, if you have kids that you know that they learn more languages, just recognize this fact, yeah, and give them ideas, and sometimes maybe incorporate something in different languages to your lessons, yeah. So show them that languages are very, very good. I want to say that it's not like you learn English and French and they are completely separated from each other. No, there are similarities, and sometimes it's easier to learn when you can see these similarities. And one more idea is to use languages to show funny differences. Yeah, there are a lot of memes. Here we can see about a butterfly in different languages, or differences when it comes to a computer. Yeah, it's just funny. When it's funny, it's engaging, and students like it. And students like memes. So you can always ask them, okay, so can you find me some linguistic memes? And trust me, they will, and sometimes they are funny and they are great. And again, they are a great starter to a conversation about some important topics. So we had some ideas for students, and we had some ideas for our classes. So I just want to quickly show you what can we do to stay fluent in both languages. Because if we are lucky and we teach adults or just high levels in both languages, that's perfect. We don't need it. But what happens in a situation when we are focused on one language and our second language, despite being fluent at some point, is getting worse? What can we do? You are teachers, so you know. But and I'm sure that everyone will say something like this, but movies or series in the language you don't want to forget, watching them is really great, and it's the easiest idea, especially when you are a fan of Netflix or other platforms. Okay, I can see some comments, sorry. Learn German, they don't want to play with English and German. Oh, I tried using English speaking while about German, but it didn't work. Well, maybe they just need more time. Yeah, but sometimes students are grumpy, and I know it, especially now during pandemic. Yeah, it's hard to get their interests, but we can try. Maybe maybe at some point you will show them a meme or a funny video, and they will see the difference or similarities, and maybe it will just, it will click. Or maybe their German level is not so, it's not, high enough, or there is big difference of levels. It's always hard. But I believe that we can try, and at some point we will find a way to incorporate these two languages. And I fingers crossed for it, really. I hope that you can do it. So if we want to stay fluent, we can watch and relax. And of course, I know that there aren't many, Italian series that are worth watching. But you can always just choose the dubbing option, or just to choose subtitles in English or in Italian, sorry. So it's just the easiest way, but it's quite efficient. So I will recommend it for sure if you just have a break in your language, in using your language. That's a good way to practice. Then read and listen. It seems obvious, but okay, where do I look materials? You can find newspapers online, or just websites with news, or online blogs. Blogs are very, very popular right now. And there are blogs about lifestyle, about music, about anything, actually. And it's not like we can read blogs only in Polish or in English. No, we can look for them on the internet. We can find some other blogs like in Spanish, German, etc. And it's a great way to learn this contemporary language and to, stay fluent again. You can also watch news online. You don't need to play them on a TV. No, you can just watch them online. There are websites there are websites or blogs maybe as well, but also apps, you can install them. We can also listen to the radio online. I'm not a big fan, but I know that some people do it. And I have a friend who speaks French, and she listens only to the French radio. And for example, when the pandemic started, she knew the situation in France because of the radio news. So that's a good source. That's a really good source because we can listen and we can also know more about the world. And also we can, of course, read books or ebooks. One thing is that we can go to the library. Right now, we know the situation is quite difficult with libraries, but luckily we have the internet. We can purchase books online, which is sometimes hard because they are usually expensive. But also there are ebooks, and I found a website. It's called Project Gutenberg, and it's gutenberg.org/ebooks. And there are some not popular languages. There are not popular languages, and free ebooks in different languages. So why not reading them? Yeah, why not? Why shouldn't we try? There are also apps like Storytel or Legimi, and they are Polish. And I know that on Storytel there are many English books, so maybe this is something better for just English, but I thought it will be good to share it with you because there are many English books, and at some point at the beginning of Storytel, I think that there were more English books than Polish, so that was something that is important. These apps are not for free, but they are quite cheap, and we can hear audiobooks, so that's a good way when you are, training or cooking or doing something and that is just time consuming and you want to listen. That's a good thing to do, I guess. The next thing we can do if you are multilingual is to use dictionaries wisely. Why should we use only English Polish or Polish English version? No, let's go further. I have this my favorite online dictionary. It's called Word Reference, and I usually choose Italian English or English Italian, and I don't know, I just like it. It's a good exercise for my brain. I also like to just check definitions. That's obvious, but sometimes I can't explain something in Polish, but I can explain it in Italian or in English better. I think that you know the feeling that sometimes you just can't say something in Polish, but you are perfectly able to explain it in like 100 different ways. So this is good. This is a good way just to practice. I don't know how often do you need to use a dictionary, but if you do, just try to elevate it. Elevate this usage of a dictionary, and of course, teach if you can. Because if you can teach it, you know it. So if you have a chance to give some lessons in the language that you are fluent, but you don't use a lot, if you have a chance, just take it. Yeah, it can be only 1 or 2 lessons, but still it keeps you going. Yeah, you have to be you have to be yeah, you have to be updated with materials, with resources, and you speak the language. You have to prepare. You have to read in this language. You have to listen. You have to use the language. So this is the way to force your brain to stay fluent. Yeah, just teach. Yeah, is like the highest form of the knowledge. If you can be a teacher, it means that you know something. And of course, I didn't mention some really obvious ways that you can, I don't know, have lessons with a native speaker, or you can sign up for a course. Of course, these are obvious, but I thought that that we can find many more interesting ways to stay fluent. And yay, we love social media. We can find a friend, and you can join Facebook groups, and you can find someone to talk to. And yeah, I mean, you can talk to someone one-to-one individually, but you can also join some groups and find other people who wants to speak in this language. So this is a great tool. You can also just, read and write on forums on different topics, and I can assure you it's just a free solution to stay fluent again. And apps. Of course, I mean, this is a good way. We have our smartphones like the whole day. They are with us, so we can use apps to practice. Yeah, on Instaling, as far as I know, you can learn not only English but also French, German, Spanish. So you can, be a teacher and use Instaling as a tool to assess your students' progress. But also you can be a student yourself. As far as I know, you can use also Duolingo or Busuu. I know that they are recommended. I don't use them. I mean, I use Instaling, but not Duolingo or Busuu. But I know that they are recommended. So the last thing for today: how to make it your asset. This is your asset. We don't need to make it your asset, because this is something that makes you special. Yeah, I mean, the fact that you are bilingual or multilingual makes you special and exceptional, and just you have to work, with your brain to acknowledge it, that this is something that has the wow effect. Yeah, this is the wow effect, and I also hope that we will have Italian in Instaling. So remember, why is it your asset? I mean, the fact that you are multilingual, because you've got wider cultural and linguistic background. That is very helpful. And it's easier for you, I'm sure that you know it, it's easier for you to learn new languages. It's not like 2 or 3 languages. It's easier for you to learn more, because you see some similarities. A better understanding of unknown languages and their structures. Yeah, you can, when you see something, when you see a sentence, you can distinguish some parts, because you know it. I mean, your knowledge of linguistics is just better. You are just better. Don't be afraid to admit it. So thank you for today. I hope that you will find these tips useful. And yeah, thank you for your comments, and thank you for being with us. Thank you.
Thank you indeed. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful presentation. I really appreciate it. Stay safe. Stay with us. We're still going to get some seminars. And I hope to possibly host another seminar next semester. For now, thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Stay safe, stay healthy, and hopefully see you in a week.
Thank you. Bye.